cannot curse, right?
No, if you feel like cursing, yeah.
Hell no. No.
It's not that I was not independent back in India. It's like you have everybody to do whatever you want, like pretty much. You have all the facilities, like you can just buy anything you want. Here you have to do everything on your own, which was quite new for me.
I live by myself. I mean, like, I have residence, but I live by myself, and I take care of everything in my life, study, laundry, get food, stuff like that.
I came here and, like, I saw videos online of, like, what happened in Syracuse, and I was like, oh shit, it's gonna be crazy. My brother was, like, gonna go wild. I came here and I was like, it's not even that great. Like, I went to a few parties and I thought it'd be like, people would be like, you know, well, I didn't want anyone to like pass out or die or something, but I thought it'd be like that epic. You know, you watch like Project X and stuff like that, you're like, shit, America! But it wasn't that built up. It kind of let my expectations down a bit.
There are some big changes when I first came to America. I think I was a little bit surprised about the difference interaction between people.
I remember one story specifically when I was a sophomore that I'm already here at Lawrence, and I have 27 residents live on this floor, not this floor, 16th floor, and I know them for like 2 months, and I would say they love me, because love in my country or in my culture is very serious. If you say you love me, we gonna get married, or we're in a serious relationship or whatever. So when they say they love me, I was like, wait a second, this is weird. Gradually I realized it's just the way how they say thank you, or the way that they show affection to you. So I got used to that, so I start to say that back to them. I love you too, yeah, I love you more, something like that.
It was daunting being in a new country, especially as my first time here. I didn't feel like this was home at all. I thought to myself, like, I'm gonna give it 2 weeks, I'm gonna call my mom and be like, I'm flying back home. But what made Syracuse home was obviously the people. Like, I made really good friends, and after a while you start to not get homesick anymore, and then that's when I realized, like, yeah, Syracuse is kind of home right now.
So first day when I came to Spencer Center, I saw this girl, she was running to me, said, oh my god, finally you're here. I was like, I'm still jet lagged, I don't understand what's going on. She said, her name is so-and-so, and she said we're from the same hometown. I was like, that's pretty cool, because not a lot of people from my hometown come to Syracuse.
After I went to Houston in the summer, like Texas, and I really wanted to get back to home. Like, I had this feeling that Syracuse was my home, I had to go back. So I really think
we had to go for international orientation, so I went for that. I felt sick though because of my crying. I cried during orientation as well.
It's kind of Slug Center, a lot of workshop, Slug Center hold, give me a lot of insights about what you should do, what you should not do, and kind of avoid doing something wrong in terms of visa and staying and traveling while you hold different type of visa.
The orientation was good. People were very friendly. The people that helped us out, like, they were really nice.
They have this program called Connection Program, and they have international students as mentors, and they also have American students as mentors.
Only when I talk about it. Like, if I talk about it to my friends about going home, I do feel sad. Like, when I Skype or FaceTime my friends, and I do feel sad not being there.
The thing makes me feel homesick, I guess it's the time maybe I'm facing obstacles that I need a family member to support me.
First, when I came here, I was just so happy and so overwhelmed with everything. And then I met this group of friends. We come from the same city and we cook similar dishes. So we have each other, and whenever we feel homesick, we talk to each other, so it's not that bad.
It's hard. Like, when we come in here, we are the foreigners. We're not used to being here. And you always have that weighing on your head, like, do people not like me because of me, or do people not like me because I'm foreign?
Actually, I think because I'm natural of the school I went to, which is Women's School of Management, there are a lot of diversity in the university, so I do not feel as much treated, like being treated differently.
So I work with a lot of American students, right? And they always say, you're the coolest Chinese that I've ever met. So I'm the token Chinese person.
I would say that I'm neutral ground. If that makes sense? Like I am Asian. I'm an international student for sure. I have it on my F1 visa and everything, and I come from a different country. But I would say that I'm different from international students just because compared to a lot of them, I am very Americanized. I am very Westernized. People have actually asked me if I'm from California just because of the way that I speak.
I do feel like maybe it's harder to get closer friendship as domestic student compared to become like friends as the international students.
Then I asked them how many Chinese people that you have ever met. They're like probably 5. So I feel there's a disconnection between American student and international student in general.
The divide between them is like so huge. Like people don't even come and talk, even, or maybe it's just me. I have no idea, but I just thought that there's like a huge divide between domestic and international students.
That class was all Chinese students, most likely. The professor had very minor interaction because like maybe to the professor their name wasn't the same or hard to remember.
But I do see sometimes like teachers talk to their students, especially when they have a very thick accent. They tend to like speak to them slower or like, do you understand me? Which sometimes I find it kind of offensive just because they can't speak English very well. It doesn't mean they can't understand you. They're not totally stupid. I mean, they got into Syracuse, if they got into New York especially, I'm pretty sure they know what you're saying.
In the past, I talk with people, in general, American people don't want to stop other people from trying to say English, I guess. Maybe that's perceived as rude. But I think it's really helpful for me if you tell me, oh, you say that wrong, or the accent is not quite right. I think that's helpful for me in the long run. And a lot of people or professors, they are very supportive in that way. They do help me. I have been writing my diary since I was 10. And in the past, majorly I read my diary in Chinese. And I never thought of one day I could write my diary in English. And I didn't do that on purpose until I did it. I was like, oh, this is weird. Why would I write my diary in English? Because I don't feel the intimacy in English.
A friend of mine told me that I'm kind of a white girl here in America. I fit the white girl California stereotype. And I found it really funny because I'm not obviously from California. I'm not like a white girl.
But then I started to write my diary in English that I think I sometimes think in English. So that's the biggest change.
All my friends make this joke back home. My friends feel like, yeah, now that you have white friends, you don't really care about us back home because your American friends are cooler than us, which is kind of bullshit. I mean, I'm not saying you guys aren't cool, y'all are cool. It's just that I don't like it that they think that it's because I have American friends, so I think I'm better than them. And that's kind of the stereotype you deal with a lot.
And sometimes when I went to a supermarket with my mom, when I try to find something, the first thing comes to my mind is English. Then I was like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad.
Before I came to US in China, I was very close-minded and kind of, as well as lack of experience to communicate with people with different background. And I definitely found the change in personality.
I told my RA that I wanted to apply to be an RA, and she was like, you totally get it because you're an international student, and they always want international students to help out other international students.
When I go to a job interview, regardless the interviewer is from different nation, different diverse background, since I had experience to kind of make the first move to communicate with a person with different backgrounds, I find it's very easy to talk to different type of recruiter. And it also gives me edge of doing better.
It does help, and also it gives me the ability to empathize with people with other background and also people with difficulties that maybe because they're coming from a different background. It makes me feel I become an open-minded person.
I think it's very important to make the first move and approach other students.
If you're already here, you just have to immerse yourself in the culture. Like, it's easy to want to stay with your friends from back home because when you hang out with people from back home, you're gonna just talk about home.
Regardless of the language barrier, I think you should be the first one to approach people.
It could be scary sometimes, But if you put yourself out there and you fully embrace. How do I say that? Embrace, okay. Embrace all kind of opportunities, you will learn a lot as a person.
As much as you want to assimilate and be part of the culture, you always have to maintain who you are. Maybe I'll apply for permanent residence, but I'm never gonna give up my Malaysian passport, ever. Even though all my kids could be American, that makes no sense, but yeah.
And I think people here are very friendly, especially they know that you are trying to use your second language. They're always willing to help. Yes, I have accent problem. But so what? It's my second language, so I learn it better by using it. So I think just in general, don't afraid of people make fun of you. Just have sense of humor with that.
You know, it's like you want to be known. You don't want people to judge you for who you are. Then speak out. Like you're more than just your race or wherever you're from, or your culture or whatever.
I did a summer internship downtown. I always used to write best regards in my email signature, and my boss comes up to me one day and she's like, don't write best regards, it just sounds that you're really polite and you're really angry at that person. I never know that. I never knew that. Like that's the culture here. You're trying to make a connection with them. Just never write best regards. Those are the small things which kind of make a difference to the other person.